Charlie Kirk did not die. Charlie Kirk was assassinated today in Utah, doing what Charlie Kirk does. He's hosting one of his, not just the show today, but they did that from the Phoenix studio, but Charlie was dialed in for part of it and was doing his show live, what he always does, which is debating college kids and bringing the word of the MAGA movement to the nation when he was gunned down in cold blood. Jack Posobiec joins me. Jack, your thoughts. It happened during the shooting itself, Jack, happened during your show. Tell me about it.
Well, it did, and you know, we were getting the information in fast and furious, and a lot of signal, or a lot of noise. You know, it's hard to separate that from the signal. We do have signal at this point, and right now, all I can say is from Tanya and myself, our thoughts and prayers absolutely go out to Erica, to the children, to everyone in Charlie's family, the team who was there, and we're working behind the scenes as much as possible to find out exactly what happened, to find out exactly who did this.
He was assassinated in cold blood. Right?
Charlie Kirk was assassinated in cold blood today. And Charlie Kirk was and is one of my best friends on this planet. And Charlie Kirk is a hero. Charlie Kirk was the hero when America needed a hero, God sent us a Charlie Kirk to move the youth in 2024, to do the heavy lift that nobody else could do, what he did with the campus and everything else.
Arizona and Pennsylvania and all the college campuses. But those two states with the ground game, President Trump been very difficult, if not impossible, if he did not have the ground game of Turning Point and the efforts of Charlie Kirk.
And after Butler, I said to Charlie, Charlie, are you sure you still want to keep doing these? And he said, Jack, I'm never going to quit.
He wasn't going to quit. I mean, you see that today. Today at was the University, Utah Valley University, out right south of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk. It was about 2:00. It was in your show, so it was like 2:15 Eastern Daylight Time. So I guess it was 12:15 when he would normally have this
Mountain Time
massive crowd. I want to make sure everybody understands that the individuals in that tweet, the older guy, looks like is not the shooter. The shooter has not been apprehended.
Yeah, we do not. So President Trump has just announced that all flags to be lowered half-mast until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. in honor of Charlie Kirk. And yes, Steve, to your point, the shooter or the person who was originally suspected of being the shooter that was making the rounds online, just from reporting now that that's not the shooter. Obviously, I'm in touch with, everybody knows I'm close to this one. We're all close to this one. We're in touch with everyone we're in touch with. As of right now, what we're being told is that that's not the guy.
I want to say also, you can see from the video and the shot, Charlie was in very bad shape from the beginning, and I want to give a shout out to the people around him that did the emergency crew. I think he was airlifted. They worked nonstop on this.
Look, they gave him the immediate care, but that kind of hit is something, and everybody I know in the military, special forces guys started calling me up. They said, I've seen guys take hits like that on the battlefield. And when you have an exit wound like that, it is a very, very hard wound to try to save someone's life, just because of the quickness, because of the pressure, the oxygen to the brain. This is something where it's something where it just absolutely breaks your heart, because when you're there, you know what's happening and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, by the way, it is a battlefield. I mean, Charlie Kirk was a warrior. Charlie Kirk wasn't going to back down. After the Butler assassination attempt last summer, you warned him, other people warned him that, hey, Charlie, you're the most exposed person in anybody in this movement, because Charlie would, it looked like a couple of times a week, go into these crowds. And look at that crowd today at Utah Valley University. It had to be a couple of thousand people, 4,000 or 5,000 people.
No. He knew. He always knew. And he knew, and he would say, I need to do it anyway because it has to be done. And if I don't do it, who else will? Because he had a drive, he had a spirit, he was a builder, he was a father, a husband, and he had this, unlike no one I've ever met, maybe outside of this room, where he just would never stop. And it could be 2 a.m. I could send Charlie a text. He text me right back.
100%.
2 a.m., 3 a.m.
The only time he would take Saturday off for the family,
except for Saturday. Saturday, of course. Saturday. If you need him, you go to Erica. And that was the time he said, "That's my time. I want to be with God. I want to pray. I want to unplug." But my point is that this guy would never stop working. 24/7 operation, 24/6. And
keep going.
The movement that Charlie Kirk started will never end. The movement of the youth, the movement to save this country, the movement to ignite a fire for freedom and liberty across this republic. And by the way that he always spoke so forcefully for Christ Jesus, that whenever chance he had to give his testimony for what he believed in and who he believed in and to lift up God's name, Charlie was always the first one to do so.
So I know, obviously, people are shocked today. When we left you a couple of hours ago, what did I do? What I always do at the end of the show in the morning is toss to Charlie Kirk for 2 hours of populist nationalism, followed by Jack Posobiec, Steve Gruber, Eric Bolling, then back to the war room. It just shows you, hey, every minute's precious for people, particularly for people in this movement and people at the tip of the spear. I realize everybody's rattled by this. Charlie Kirk being assassinated, shot down in cold blood for the entire world to see. The shooter is not apprehended yet. Yes, there's going to be prayers and mourning and half staff in nurturing the widow and a ceremony. But we have to have steely resolve, right? Charlie Kirk's a casualty of war. We're in this country. We are. And the mocking that you had on MSNBC today was completely and totally inappropriate by Matthew Dowd, and the owners of MSNBC ought to know he ought to be removed immediately and never come back on that channel. His comments earlier today, when we first heard that Charlie was shot, right? And Katie Tur was trying to do her best job, right, given the circumstances, but you have a guest like on there. We need steely resolve. Charlie Kirk is a casualty of the political war going on in this country. He was gunned down in cold blood. Gunned down in cold blood. And you have to have steely resolve about this.
Charlie Kirk never... Look, what did he do? He would say, if you disagree, come to the front of the line. Because he wanted to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk never raised a hand in anger. Never once. He said, come out here. He would say, change my mind.
He was a happy warrior.
He's a happy warrior every single time.
Right.
And
you never saw him.
You had conviction.
Right.
You know, he had conviction.
Tough.
He was tough as nails. But he never once did so. He never once came off a stage. You go find hundreds of hours of video. No. He never did it. No. Never once. No matter how crazy, no matter how nuts, whatever he was being faced with, he would always sit there and he would hold his ground and hold frame and do so with the peace of Christ. He had a gift from God. He had an absolute gift from God. And for, these are the reasons that we'll never be able to really get the answers of. But God called him home today.
Well, it's your fate and your destiny, right?
Yes.
Charlie Kirk knew what he was getting into in doing this, right? Charlie Kirk was at the tip of the spear, never flinched, never backed off. You never heard any whining from Charlie Kirk. I mean, we would have texts, and there was a lot of stuff, we didn't always totally agree on. The text message chains with Charlie Kirk all hours of the night, always trying to learn, right? Always trying to move the ball forward, but always doing it with in a very upbeat spirit, right? In a way that was, he's a glass half full guy, right? And the organization he built, that's what attracted so many college kids. And it started with college kids, but it built all over the events themselves now. His two big events, one in the summer, and of course the event right before Christmas in Phoenix, are the most important events of the calendar for the conservative movement. It's a who's who comes on the stage, including President Trump came on last December. And on that stage, for the first time, President Trump told that audience, because of what Charlie Kirk brings and the intensity he brings, President Trump told us why he ran for office. It was because he knew the 2020 election was stolen, and he says, I had to come back and make sure that we didn't if we let that go, we weren't going to have a republic. And that's the power of what Charlie Kirk built. Charlie Kirk was a warrior to the end. If you see his last moments of maybe consciousness before he was shot, what did he have? He picked up a mic, to respond.
He died fighting. This is a man who died fighting. Charlie Kirk died fighting, not for himself. Charlie Kirk died fighting for you. Charlie Kirk died fighting for Jesus. Charlie Kirk died fighting for this country, and he did so knowing full well that he wasn't just staring down at a microphone or some liberals. He knew about Butler. He knew everything about it. I've talked to him about it a million times. He knew. And by the way, he knew
about the security too, because he says, "Hey, I can't get too much security because it cuts me off from the young people. It cuts me off from the crowd." Charlie was a people person. That's why today, when you saw that tent, the people were right there in front of him, right, and they're in the line and they're tossing back and forth, and Charlie's giving as good as he gets. He was answering. He picked up the microphone to answer. To respond to something he didn't agree with, right? That the individual.
If you disagree, you come to the front.
Exactly.
If you disagree, you come to the front. He always every time I did an event with him, he'd always say, "You disagree, you come to the front." We did Penn State last year. We did. By the way, just because I haven't said it yet, to Charlie's mom and dad, his mother and father, that obviously our prayers are absolutely with you, the entire Kirk family. And we need to get to the bottom of this now.
Need to get to the bottom of it, but he went out as a hero. What'd you say the hero America needs right now?
When America needed a hero, God sent us Charlie Kirk.
As a fighter.
When America needed a hero, God sent us Charlie Kirk. He sent us Donald Trump. Some say that we're not sure who sent us Steve Bannon, but we got a Bannon too.
I'm not in that league. But I'll tell you, the Trump, they came for him twice. You saw it in Butler. When they tried to gun him down in cold blood in Butler, assassination attempt, another one later.
Look.
And Charlie Kirk, I don't want to hear Charlie Kirk is dead. I don't want to hear that Charlie Kirk died today. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. An assassin's bullet cut him down.
Single shot
at 31 years old. Yeah, at 200 yards, what we're hearing. So it was not a rookie, right? It was somebody who knew how to use a weapon. Charlie Kirk was cut down by an assassin's bullet. Right?
In the prime of his life.
In the prime of his life.
Top of his game.
Just when he got going. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I mean, beyond all that, he's our friend. This is one of our friends. And when you come for one of our friends, that's it. That's it. Gloves are off. Gloves are out. You thought that before was bad, that we went hard. You just took away one of our friends. And that's something that requires a response.
But people have to expect this. Look at Luigi.
You get MAGA or get Mangione.
That's my point.
And the Mangionis are now taking out the MAGAs.
And Mangione is considered a hero by these guys. I tell folks all the time. You got Mangione and you got Ma'am Donnie, who's a.
It's the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks.
Yeah, exactly. So you see what they're doing. And Luigi and Mangione is treated as a cult hero by these people.
So tell me again about, Posobiec and Bannon and the rhetoric. Oh, the rhetoric. You're so upset. Oh, because I used the word unhumans. Yeah, what word would you ascribe to an act like this? It's unhuman. Okay? That's what we're living through. You think I want to do this with my time? You think I got kids? You think I want to be here? This is what you have done to our country.
Exactly.
And what comes next is on you, too.
And we're not going to back off an inch. Anybody think if you're going to back off, then this is not for you. Charlie Kirk gave his life for a country. He's on the battlefield of political combat, okay? And they cut him down with an assassin's bullet. Let's be blunt about this. They cut him down with an assassin's bullet. I guess we're going to take a break here. We're going to take a short commercial break. We've got John Solomon, three other people going to join us, hopefully the great Matt Boyle. Jack Posobiec, one of Charlie's best friends and best partners, is with us. And we're going to take a short break and return in a moment. You're in the War Room.